Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Coaching Call podcast with Amy Griffith. I am your host, Amy Griffith, and I'm excited for today's episode. I am also going live on TikTok right now. During this, I normally love to go live and do little trainings and things like that on Instagram, but I have been cut off from doing that for like 2 months. It's been disabled on my Instagram, so that's unfortunate. I'm hoping that gets fixed soon, but gotta love multiple apps. So we have TikTok, which is amazing. And I'm going to give you guys my little life update as I do for these episodes all of the time and go into this episode of what to do in the waiting season. And this can mean, waiting for whatever, whether it's a business goal that you have, health goals that you have, something coming up that you're waiting for, something that you're working towards, just something, right? We're always, for the most part, in pursuit of something to happen and something that we're working towards. So we're waiting a lot of the time. And how you spend your time when you're in that season of waiting is everything. Like it's everything. That's where the journey is. That's where you develop the most. That's where you learn the most. And honestly, like it's so much more important than actually achieving that thing. So we're going to get into this today, and I hope by the end of today's episode your mindset changes around, if you've been feeling stagnant, if you've been feeling like you're in a rut, in a lull, if you're working towards a goal, it just hasn't happened yet, and like, what you're doing in that time. Ideally, you are feeling like a brand new person after this episode. That is my goal with you guys. So I'm excited. Little life update. It is the first day of snow in Chicago, and it is downpouring. Like I went outside with my dog this morning. He loves the snow. It looks all fluffy and like cute. You guys can't see outside right now, but it like looks all nice and pretty, and like I love the snow. It's exciting to me. I'm like, this is so beautiful, winter wonderland. I'm Canadian, remember that, okay? So I'm like, this is great. And I go outside. Hello, Chicago. The wind, it's borderline frozen. It's barely frozen, so it's kind of rain, it's kind of snow, it's like ice. It is like little ice pellets. And it was brutal. It was so painful. I'm like crying because my eyes, I can't see. And I'm like drenched, and the dog's happy. He loved it. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. But anyway, so we're not really going too far today. I'm nervous to drive later. We'll see how the roads are. With everyone kind of freaks out when that first snowfall. Anyway, so that is literally that's the life update. Nothing else really going on yet. I am traveling next week. I'm really excited to see my family, go back home for a bit, see my team and my business, and just like have so much fun. We're gonna have a Christmas retreat weekend on the ranch, and I just cannot wait to see everyone. And it's coming up close. Like I'm realizing that today. And I also think because it's snowing, it's getting me like in the zone, in the mood for Christmas festivities, all those things. So I'm very, very excited. Okay, you guys, let's get into this episode and all the things. So I do have some notes. I might go in tangents as I usually do. So let's do it. Basically, the waiting season to me, like this is when, like I said, you have a goal to hit, but you're currently working on it. You have somewhere that you want to be, somewhere that you're going, but you're in the pursuit of figuring it out, of doing the do, of working in the dark and working towards that said thing. And I'm going to go through a little series of steps that I would recommend. And step number one, you guys, work while you wait. A lot of people wait while they wait, you know, and then others, those who are actually going to get to the place that they want to be, they work while they wait. So let's say you have that goal that you're working towards, business, health, whatever, wherever, doesn't matter what it is. You need to be doing things that are supporting you to hit that goal while you're waiting, right? When you're in that waiting zone, you don't actually want to be sitting there waiting and sitting there stagnant and like waiting for things to come to you. And something that I think about with this is when we're like manifesting things that we want, you'll sit and you feel like I just need to, I've done the work already and I'm just going to wait and like manifest and let everything come to me. Like Yes, there's times for sure when you kind of just need to let go and know that it's all coming. But in that time as well, you don't just want to sit back and stop doing anything to work towards that thing. You want to be actively building on your skills. You want to actively be growing your mindset. You want to actively be networking. You want to actively be going to the gym and eating well and like actively working towards that thing while you're trusting the process that it is going to happen for you, you know? So this is just like that work while you wait. This is always something that I think about when I feel like I'm overthinking. And honestly, like when you're in a waiting period like this, what I know I personally do and what I feel like I see so many people do as well is they get very like in their head and just start to overthink everything and panic, overthink, all those things are starting to happen. And you kind of start to go down this little mind spiral that is not good for you, not healthy for you, not bringing you anywhere, you know, nowhere near those goals that you have when you're just overthinking. It takes so much energy, it drains so much energy to overthink like that. So, something to keep in mind is if you get busy in that waiting period and you get focused on growth and bettering yourself and your skill sets and everything like that in that waiting period, when that time does come, like first of all, you're working towards it. So something's actually going to be able to happen and your goal is actually going to be able to come your reality, but you're also on a pursuit of bettering yourself and embracing the journey of working towards something. You know, everyone starts, whether it's a new business or health journey or whatever, you start it and you just want to jump to the finish line of like, okay, let's make this amount of money, let's do this thing, whatever. And people want to skip the journey, but only within that journey of the challenges and the setbacks and those little mini milestones that you hit and those little achievements along the way, it's building you into the person you need to be in order to hit that larger milestone. And like we know this, you know, this is not breaking news or anything outrageous and different, but we forget, you know, it's hard to think about that and see it that way when you're in a struggle or a challenge and you just want it over with and you just want to get, you know, get to the goal and call it a day. But um, I'm going to save some of this for later. I start to get in tangents on like point number one all the time and I get too excited about it, but we'll get into that in a second. So you guys need to work while you wait. Okay. Number two is to recognize that you're in this season. Okay. You need to recognize that you are in a waiting season. And again, knowing that you have a goal, there's a goal there, but you just haven't met it yet. So you are in that waiting season right now. Recognize this, take that self-awareness, like reflect a little bit and be like, yeah, this is where I am. And like 99% of the time, you guys, we are in the season. And when you hit a goal, that's like 2 seconds. And then what happens? You go back to work, you go back to building and all that stuff. You guys might hear my dog snoring soon because he is, again, when he hears me talk and do a podcast, he's like falling asleep right away to the sound of my voice. He lives the best life. He truly does. So now that you've recognized that you're self-aware and you can stop saying things like, I'm stagnant, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, da, da, da. It's like, no, you just have a goal and you're working towards it. So you need to build and you need to go and you need to grow, right? Step number three is choose to use the season for greater expansion. So I'm going to give you guys some examples right now on how you can do this and expand more in this season. So think to yourself, this is a key one. What skills can you develop in this time that will support the process? So I'm always going to use, because this is kind of like a business podcast and we keep it pretty business focused. I'm in the network marketing profession. I know lots of you listening are as well, or just an entrepreneur in some space. Like what what skills can you develop in this time, right? So you have a goal that you're working towards. So there's obviously things that you can do that might be missing right now or that you need to work on that's going to help you get there, whether it's networking skills, whether it's social media skills, whether it's your speaking skills or knowledge on your product, your service, a certain app that you want to do, email marketing. I say that. I hear everyone talk about email marketing. You guys, I don't know one thing about email marketing. Maybe that's something that I need to do. Like we hear about all these things, but like don't overwhelm yourself with trying to learn TikTok and Instagram and how to post properly on stories and reels and email marketing and a podcast and all these things at once. Like take one thing at a time. The first thing I did was learn Instagram, and then I started to learn TikTok. And then during this time, I'm working on my speaking skills by practicing and whatnot. And then, it develops and you learn these things until you feel like you're in a good flow with that. You know how to use this one thing, and then you can go on to the next. Like, you want to be building your skills in this time. And don't see this as a negative thing. See it as like, yeah, I'm working towards a goal, and I obviously need to better my skills. I obviously need to practice. I obviously need to do some more work. Otherwise, I'd be there by now, obviously. So what can we do in this time that's going to help build us and set a brick by brick down each day to help us get to this place, right? Another example that is really specific. So let's say you have a customer and they're choosing their flavors, okay? They're choosing their products that they want. You're helping them shop, whatever. And you're waiting to hear back what flavor they want, or which, if they want SPF or no SPF. And like that's the last thing. And now you're not hearing from them straight away. Takes them a little while to respond. We know that feeling, business owners, right? When you're like personally shopping for people, or I love to personally shop for the people who shop with me. And what you need to do in this time when you're like, this is like a clear waiting period, like you're quite literally waiting for someone to respond to you, you need to be able to recognize what's in your control and what's not in your control, right? So obviously this situation for them to respond with whatever flavor they want or the product, so you can put that order through, it's out of your control. You've done your part. The ball is in their court. They have to hit it back. There's nothing you can do. You cannot go in there and like go get the ball back or whatever. Like you have to realize, okay, this isn't out of my control. I need to spend my time doing something else. Or if it is something in your control, that's when you can, like I said, expand on your skills or do something about it or respond the best that you can or something like that, right? And I actually saw this photo once. I really liked how it looked, and it was kind of like a little diagram of the circles, like a circle of what's in your control, and it had some examples there, and then outside of the circle all these things that are out of your control. And it just put it into perspective so nicely of like, there are certain things that we can control. That's where the focus needs. If it is anywhere on the outside of that little circle of what is in your control, if it's on the outside, out in outer space, you can't reach it, you can't touch it, it has nothing to do with you. Exactly that. It has nothing to do with you. You have nothing to do with it. If you can't change it, it doesn't need to take up space in your mind. You can remove yourself and go do something else, right? You don't have to wait and stare at it and like wait by your phone waiting for the answer or whatever it might be. Go do something else. Go work on something else and realize and start to make a mental list like, okay, this is not in my control. What is this, and this, right? You can go and start to visualize your own circle of like, what is in my control right now that I can do that's going to move me forward instead of sitting here waiting, And like you can connect with other clients, help them restock, connect with new people, generate new leads, go post something up on social media, like do something. It takes, when you go and do something and move, like this is why moving your body is so good. It takes you out of your mind into your body, is you stop stressing about that thing because you're not thinking about it anymore. You're thinking about the movements that you're doing. And you know what? That person's going to message back or let you know the flavor or whatever eventually, or they won't, whatever. And you're going to forget about it by then. And it's all good. Right. Or they're going to message back, oh, I want strawberry. Great. Instead of spending all that time stressing about this tiny little thing, you actually did something to move you forward and become better in your skill set rather than sitting around wasting time till you got that message. The same amount of time passes either way. Like, it's going to pass either way. If you are sitting there staring at your text, waiting for something, or if you're doing something different, the text can come in on its own time. It's not in your control. So it's so obvious when we talk about it, and when I say it out loud, it's like, duh, like obviously that is literally nothing new, but we need to break things down and like dumb things down in our brains sometimes to really grasp it so that we can remember it. So that when that happens, you remember this conversation and you visualize the circle of what's in your control and you visualize the circle of what's out of your control, and you can figure out where you are so that you can move forward and do better and get better, right? So, number 4 is have trust and faith. You need to have trust and you need to have faith that it's always working out in your favor. The goal that you're working towards, the thing that you're going towards, you guys, when it's on your mind and it stays in your vision every single day and you do something that moves you towards it every day, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, right? And not only doing something that brings you closer, but how you're bettering yourself every single day in some shape or form. You're growing, you're moving towards that. Okay. Patience is attractive, desperation is not. Okay. Patience is attractive, desperation is not. When you are calm, cool, and collected in your situations, in business, in whatever, and you're patient and you're trusting the process and like you're calm about it, like you're urgent, you're working, you're going towards a goal, you're pursuing something, yes. But in the midst of you taking all these actions, you're doing it in a very calm way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you guys can visualize that energy and like understand that energy. Because when you get desperate, we all also know whether we've been the desperate one or someone else on the other end is desperate for a sale, for a relationship, for whatever. It's so not attractive. It doesn't look good. It makes people angry. It makes people like, oh, like, no, it's just, it's an icky feeling. It is not, it repels energy. It really does. Or it repels positive energy, that is. So you're desperate. Like desperation comes about when you are trying to control the uncontrollables, right? And you are, say it's that client again and you just keep messaging, what flavor do you want, what's going on, what flavor, like desperate. None of you guys would do this, but you know the energy that I'm talking about, right? And on the other hand, the patience of being cool to wait and continue on and move forward and thrive, things will come to you. They get attracted to you when you've put it out there of either the customer you're helping or the work that you're doing. You did that work for that time and that day, and like you're doing what you need to do to move you forward. You're controlling what is in your control, and then you carry on with your life and keep on keeping on rather than sitting around waiting. That's attractive. That's when you become a magnet. Things are going to be attracted to you because you are moving and pursuing and going on your own path and you're not waiting for anyone. You're not waiting for anything. Like people get FOMO. They're like, they feel that energy. They're like, okay, well, I want to go too. Like, what? No, you don't need me. Okay, well, I want to go too then. If someone feels like you need them, you need their sale or you need their business or something like that. It's just, again, we all know that feeling. It's just no, it just kind of, there's resistance there. So stay focused, keep your blinders on as to where you're going in your vision and pursue it and go. Control what you can control. Okay. Okay. Yeah, moving on and attracting new opportunities to you. Everything will come to you as you stay focused on new and growth and expansion. People will come with you when the time is right. Sales will go through when the time is right. Your promotion's going to happen when the time is right. Like your physique is going to be physiquing when the time is right, as long as you stay doing the actions you know you need to do in order to get it there. Like this goes for literally anything. Number 5 or step 5, have the mindset of this or something better. Okay. This or something better. So that goal that you're working towards or something better. Because sometimes you guys, milestones won't be met. Goals won't be met, or you'll be taken down a different journey and a different path that you were not expecting and not planning. And I always trust for every single goal that I set, everything that I want to do, I'm like, this will be amazing or something better. And at the end of the day, the underlying reason for why I want to do something, like let's say just random example that came to my mind is we're on a podcast, write a book. You have a plan to start a podcast, let's say, but it just didn't work out, couldn't figure it out, don't know what's going on, whatever. but your intention was to help people, was to give value, was to help people in their health and wellness journey, or motivating, or whatever, or cooking, anything, literally anything. Okay. But for some reason, it just wasn't working out. You couldn't figure it out, or something happened, technology happened, your laptop breaks, I don't know, whatever. And you end up writing a book instead. You realize I'm actually not much of a talker, I'm more of a writer, and you publish a book. It's like your goal was to have a podcast, but then you took it into a redirection, and now you're writing a book and you're an author, but the why is the same. The book is going to inspire and motivate and talk about all these things that you wanted to talk about. It's just in a different way. So that's one example. It can look like so many different things, you guys, but just trusting your path, that it's going to happen for you, or something so much better that's more aligned. And as you sort through and have these ideas and hit these milestones and go in these different paths, like, you're finding your way as long as you keep moving forward. At the end of the day, as long as you keep moving forward and you keep doing your thing and you're excited about it and you're building towards something, sometimes you're going to try things and it doesn't work out. Redirection, right? And then you try another thing and it does work out, and you build on that, and that's your direction. Like, it's never going to be linear. Goals rarely happen in the timeline that we plan. It takes some learning within that timeline and that plan to build and develop the skills that we need truly in order to get to that place that we want. Right? So believe like this or something better, and believe that it will be better than you could even imagine in the first place. Like, how you think something's going to turn out, when you stick with it through the trial and error, and through when it falls through, or when you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, maybe your waiting season is like years long, decades long. I don't know what it is for you, but you're just like in that place. Know that, and trust, like, in order for this to happen to you guys, you have to trust it. Know that it's going to be so much better than you could have even imagined. However it turns out, better than you could have even imagined. And when you think that way and you show up in that way of like, that's how things work out for you, it's better than you could have even pictured for yourself or visualized. That, like, the things you attract when you're in that mindset are incredible, out of this world, extraordinary. Okay. And another thing, just for your mindset to think about, is to trust yourself to keep going until. Trust yourself to keep going until it happens. My lip is like bleeding right now. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, what is going on? I think I bit it in my sleep or just dry. It's bleeding right now. What is going on? So it's not actually, but felt like it was. You're going to keep going until it's done. So you're going to set timelines, you're going to set game plans, you're going to do 90-day runs. We're going to do it. And that's awesome. If you don't know what a 90-day run is, search my podcast, The 90-Day Run, and you're going to learn. It's a really helpful business tool. You guys, keep going until it's done. It's so important to set dates and goals and everything like that. But if you go on your 90-day run and it's not done, it's not met, you need to reflect on those 90 days and see why. And you need to see how you can get better from that to then go again. And so many people don't want to do that. But I'm like, you guys, think about it. Think about it. You're going to hit a goal. You're going to hit that milestone, that promotion, that income, that whatever, that body, whatever. And for that split second of you hitting that goal, you're going to celebrate. Woo, I did it. And then you're going to go to bed and you're going to wake up and do what? You're going to wake up and do what? Stop? Quit the business? Stop working? Stop going to the gym? Like, obviously not, obviously not. That would be so counterproductive. There would be no integrity if with everything that you just did and built and created, you'd be throwing it all away. Like, why? You're going to get up and you're going to go to the gym again, or probably have a little bit of a rest day. And then you're going to go to the gym the next day, or you're going to get up and you're going to work on your business again and help more people. Like, I think we forget and we idolize like that moment of hitting the goal and putting up that post on Instagram and like getting the recognition and all the validation and all these things. And we forget that like that's for literally a split second. But then you keep living your life and you keep building and expanding at a new level, of life. It's like a video game. This new level is unlocked. And now you're in this new place that you continue to get better from, not worse from. That would make no sense. It won't even be in your DNA, because when you hit that goal that really is that big that you're working towards, you develop into a new person in pursuit of that goal. So you're going to be showing up differently. It's just going to be different. So keep this in mind, you guys. Keep going until you're going to hit that goal, and you're going to grow right through it and continue going and building and becoming better and better, because that's what you're signed up for. That's the journey. That's the purpose, right? And last thing on the mindset is just to take responsibility, like not to blame anyone for you being in a waiting period. Like it's up to you, not in control, everybody else. And anything that has anything to do with anybody else is so out of your control. What is in your control? You and your mind and your actions. You can't control people's reactions, what they do or don't do, or if they're helping you or not helping you, or buying or not, or mentoring you or not mentoring you. Like that has nothing to do with you at the end of the day. That's so out of your control. People who blame other people for their lack of success, it's an excuse for the work you're not doing and not willing to do. It's so much easier to put the blame on someone else for not helping you or for not doing what they were meant to do. You got to look inward and you got to do the work yourself and get it going yourself. You have to take full 100% responsibility for your life. I know I said that probably in every single episode, but because it's that important, like as soon as you do that for real, and you stop blaming everyone else, and you stop having all these excuses in your mind, and you start to change your story into something that serves you for real, it's like you have control back and you get to make different moves, and it's just incredible. So you guys, those are the steps. Extra notes that I had written down. What did I write here? If you sit back and actually wait, like sitting still, stagnant vibes, you will go backwards. Eventually, you will go backwards. It might be okay for a little while, maybe for some of you, but at the end of the day, like if you're not growing, you're dying. A little bit harsh, but it is very, very true. We as human beings love to pursue something, love to have goals. We love to have routines, and we love to develop. And like, that's what we're all about. That's how our minds are built. Like our brain changes all the time, ourselves renew all of the time. Like we're always evolving and growing. That's the beauty of the life that we get to live, is to see how amazing we can make it and how beautiful we can make it and really design that life. We do thrive on that, you know. Anyone who thinks differently, I feel like you're just in your comfort, and that's fine. There's going to be seasons where you want to be in your comfort, but at the end of the day, to enjoy life, like getting out of that comfort zone is where that really starts to happen for you. What are you doing to become 1% better every day? Right? It doesn't have to be 100% better and like be a whole new person in the morning, but what are you doing to just better your day each day a little bit more? Repetition, repetition, consistency, consistency. That's where change comes from. It's not one big thing, it's those daily tiny habits and skills that you are working on. Touching your vision every day, looking at that vision, seeing it, feeling it in your body, and showing up like it's done every day. How can you tap into that? It's when you stop doing that and you start living and being and operating in the present or even in the past, what some people do, it's going to pull you down. It's going to pull you down so far. I live in my future while being present in the now, but embodying that future vision and acting from that place, right? So, okay, yes, I went through all of this as well. Hitting a new level opens a door of a new level of life and expansion. I just love that. And it's so true when you guys hit milestones and as you grow, and like you publish the book, you do the competition, you promote in your business, like what comes after is just more growth. Like it's just more learning. It's more, it's higher level. It's just, there's so much more that comes after that too. So really take that on, like that pursuit of the journey. And I'll end on one of my favorite quotes by Jim Rohn: set goals that make something of you to achieve them. I just love that. Set goals that make something of you to achieve them. So it really is tying this all together of like when you're in that waiting season, that's where everything is happening. That is where the goal is happening. And like, this is how I feel in my business. I'm in a very big expansion season right now, currently, as we are speaking. And it's I'm being shaped. I'm like shaping myself and like shaping different ways of doing things and have been over the years. I've been in business for 5 years. So it's been a constant personal growth journey and always shaping and evolving. And it's so cool to see when things come to fruition from that as we go. It's so exciting, and there's just so much more room to grow. And we're all doing it together on this podcast, which we love. So with that being said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please make sure to take a screenshot of it, tag me, like throw it up on Instagram, tag me at It's Amy Griffith, tag me at Coaching Call Podcast. And please, if you haven't yet already, give the show a 5-star rating. It helps me continue to pump these out for you guys. And I'm so excited, and I will see you guys on next week's episode. Bye, everyone.